Hello everyone, Jonathan here, and I have some exciting news. Addleford Green, my 00 gauge layout, is going to be in the next edition of Model Rail magazine. In fact, here is the very magazine itself. This is edition 350, and it's the April edition, which confusingly actually comes out on the 12th of March 2026. So on the release of this video, that's pretty much the day that it's being released. I'm really pleased, really proud that this has happened. And obviously I can't show you exactly what that article is. I would encourage you to go out and seek a copy for yourself if you can. But what I did think I could do is talk about the process of being in a model railway magazine. It's not something I've ever done before. It's maybe not even something I ever thought I could do. And I thought if there was anyone else out there in a similar position, you might enjoy hearing a little bit more about how it goes. So it all started back in August of 2025. And it was around this time that I decided that Addleford Green was complete, if you like. The opportunity came up to go to a small model railway exhibition, very local to me, which I did. And I got some really positive comments from people when they saw my layout. Now, prior to that, it really hadn't been seen by many people at all. And that gave me quite a lot of confidence to approach Model Rail, who were my model railway magazine of choice. I've subscribed to them for a long time now, and I kind of sent this tentative email to their main sort of admin account and also to their editor George Dent, kind of saying, look, this is my layout. I've recently been to an exhibition with it, got some good comments. Here's some pictures. What do you think? And of course, to get those pictures, I'd taken my layout outside into the sunshine, and that's also the time I took the video footage for the summer day in Addleford Green video, which you can probably find linked up here. So I really went out of my way to try and get some nice photos in some natural light that looked really nice. Well, George got back to me within, I think it was about 4 days. This was in September. Last year at this point. He got back to me within about 4 days, and he said, thankfully, that he really would like to feature it in the magazine. Now, obviously, that's a really tentative moment, isn't it? That's a really scary time because you don't know how well your layout's going to be received, and there could be some feelings of, well, you know, is it good enough? Is it good enough to go up with all the other layouts ever featured in a model railway magazine? I remember growing up reading these magazines and looking at these fantastic layouts and just being in awe of the things that I saw in them. Well, after some initial chats, George put me in touch with Chris Nevard, so the photographer for Model Rail. And I have to say, thanks to Model Rail, I've been a big fan of Chris's for some time. And now having met Chris, I know he would absolutely hate me to say this, but yeah, it was a really fantastic experience meeting him and getting to see how he takes his photographs. He shared a bit of his photographer knowledge with me. And of course, I absolutely adore the layouts that he builds and the style that he has, many of which I've tried to replicate myself in my own layouts as well. So basically, Chris was in touch by the end of September, and we set a date that was going to be at the end of October. So considering this whole process started really very early September, it moves along at quite a pace. Chris came along to my home and he spent 2 to 3 hours taking photos of my layout. And within a couple of weeks, he had sent back those photos to me. So I actually got to see them, which is really cool. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to share some of those photos. I've been given permission to do that. I'm going to try and not share the ones that are in the magazine. There were quite a lot of photos taken, and I think some of them didn't make it, which is understandable. So I'd like to try and share a few of those in this video. And then I'd encourage you absolutely, if you're really interested in seeing more, to go and have a look at the magazine, because it is a great article. Speaking of the article, you might wonder how that part gets written, and I suspect, in fact, I kind of know it's different, at least for one other magazine. But at Model Rail, they will get someone to get in touch with you. And in this case, it was Nick Broderick. Nick was fantastic. Again, within a couple of days of him getting in touch, we'd sorted something out. But he didn't get in touch with me until January. So that's January this year, 2026. Now, the reason for that is because ModelRail obviously gets lots of requests for layouts, and they feature at least 2 in each magazine. And what they try to do is balance out those layouts. So if there was another layout that was a branch line terminus in the country that was based in Kent, they obviously wouldn't want to put it in the same edition as mine because there's not a lot of variety there. So they try and wait until they've got enough layouts together to be able to plan. So I think generally they're working something like 6 to 9 months ahead of time. And considering this process started around September and now it's March, that's about spot on 6 months. So Nick got in touch at the beginning of this year when they knew which edition I would be in, and we arranged an interview, which sounds a bit scary, but it was just a chat really. And this was done through Zoom, so it was all online, and basically he asked me questions about my layout, and was quite free to let me just chat away, to be honest. And so I guess that gave him the material he needed to be able to create a write-up, which I believe was around 1,000 words. I do understand that at least Hornby magazine, well, they ask you to write that yourself, which I think also would be a really cool thing. But this was also great because it means that the magazine can focus on the sort of things that they maybe think would be most interest to their reader, or maybe the bit that you think is the most significant. So obviously in the write-up there was quite a lot of focus on my scratch builds because, well, based on this channel name, it's kind of important to me and it's a big part of the joy I get from modelling. So what Nick did was he took that information away. The interview ended up being, again, 2 to 3 hours, something like that. We kept running out of the free Zoom time, which I think is so funny, and we kept having to restart the call. And I'm very grateful for the amount of time poor Nick gave me. So that was condensed into about 1,000 words in the magazine. And he sent me a draft of his first version. And what I was actually really quite pleasantly surprised by was the level of collaboration that we could have. So I was able to suggest just a few couple amendments that I wanted to see to that write-up, and he was very, very obliging and incorporated those. So I got to see the photos and I got to see the write-up before it even went in the magazine. Now, of course, I guess you could request not to. If you want it to be a really big surprise, you could decide that you don't necessarily want to see those things. I guess that would be fine as well. And I've also got high quality copies of the photos that Chris Nevard took as well. I have been told that I can use them in things, but they do prefer you to just ask them for permission first, which is, again, understandable. I was then also informed of when my layout would feature, so they knew that it was going to be in the April edition, which releases in the 12th of March. So I was able to be prepared for that and also be able to make this video. Now, I subscribe to ModelRail magazine, so I got this in the post literally as I'm making this video yesterday, so a few days ahead of the official release date, which is perfect timing really. And I am really, 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 really pleased and proud to see I got the front cover as well. I really hope this video doesn't come across as tooting my own horn, but this is such a special moment for me. This is really, really gratifying. And I guess it's been a kind of dream for a long time without even really realising that it was, to be in an actual magazine, and one that I read quite regularly as well. It's really, really quite wonderful. And what I would say to anyone watching this who's unsure, particularly if you have a layout that doesn't go to exhibitions, let someone know. Reach out to them. The worst they can say is no, which I guess is pretty deflating. But, you know, it's such a wonderful thing to be able to do, and you never know until you show someone else. You don't really understand the level of quality. And people who work with these things all day, every day, they understand the work that goes into it and what it means to people. If you've got a unique prototype that you're modelling as well, then they're always interested in things like that. So get in touch with your magazine of choice and see what they say. It's been a really interesting and really wonderful process to go through. And I think more people would really benefit from going through that as well. I think you'd enjoy it. So I guess my final word on that, I think I've plugged it enough really, is do go out and buy the latest edition of Model Rail. If not for them, for me. Have a little look at what I've got to say about Addleford Green. Some absolutely fantastic photos from Chris Nevard. Like I say, in all good newsagents, maybe some bad ones as well, by the 12th of March 2026. And that's issue 350, if you happen to be watching this in the past and you want to get the back issue. So on top of all this, I also have a few updates while I've got you here, because I understand that the channel has been suspiciously quiet recently. I've put a few shorts out, but not a lot else. This is probably my first sort of long form video for a while. Now the reason for that, if you haven't followed my social media channels, Facebook and Instagram, I have been in the process of bringing in a new shed. So the old shed basically got a bit of a leak. It's not fantastic. And I decided, with all of this going on, with all my layouts, with the new layout, YouTube, I thought maybe it's time to treat myself to a brand new shed. Now that's turning out to be quite a process. And it also means that obviously I can't do a lot of my modelling while the shed is not up. I am going to be releasing a video all about that whole process once it's finished. But as of now, as of this video, the old shed has gone. It is gone. And I'm currently exploring options for a base and obviously for the new shed itself as well at this point. So that's exciting, but it is slowing me down a bit. I have got another video in the works which doesn't rely on having any of my model railway stuff, but I hope will be still really interesting and valuable to everyone who models as well. So do keep an eye out for that in maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks. And the last little bit of news is this coming weekend, that's the 14th and 15th of March 2026, if you're watching this in the future, I will be at the Spa Valley Railway's Spring Model Railway Exhibition. So in previous years, I believe they've usually run theirs in September. They are doing that as well this year, but they're also doing an additional spring one. I will be there with Addleford Green. So that is the 14th and 15th of March, this weekend. The exhibition is at Tunbridge Wells West Station in Kent, and it runs from 10 o'clock till 5 p.m, both days. And I will be there both days with Addleford Green. So if you're in the area, if you're able to make it along, please do come along, have a look at the layout, say hi. It's always great meeting people who've watched the channel, people who've seen the layout. Come and see it in the flesh. Yeah, it'll be a good day, I think. So that's about it for this video. It's only a short one, and I'm sorry it is just a few updates. But before I go, one final plug. Model Rail edition 350. This is the April edition, available from the 12th of March 2026. Do take a look. Let me know what you think as well. And there will be more to come. There will be more exhibitions throughout the year. Do take a look at my social media, Facebook and Instagram, for additional things that I can't always share here on YouTube. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.